thank you all again for coming. If you want to put where you're dialing in from in the chat, I think where everyone is from, but so that we all know where one another is from, it'd be great if you can just let me know where you're from, let one another know where you're from, and what business you are thinking of as we look at Profit Pulse, if you have a business, which I think everybody here does. So as you look to do that, we'll go ahead and get started. There will be, thanks, Coach Aki from Philly. And Kelly, go ahead, Kelly. Sorry.
Hi, sorry. Um, I had to, I was wrapping up a call when I got one, so sorry, I just missed that last little bit. Sorry about that.
No problem. I was just asking everybody to put in the chat or let me know where they're from. So I
Okay.
think you're physically in Bermuda right now, right? You're not traveling right
No,
now.
no, no. Yes, physically in Bermuda here.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And I know Simi is in South Africa, Sade is in Texas, Coach Aki is in Philadelphia. So, and Kelly's in Bermuda. I'm in Bermuda. So thank you all, the different time zones. I really appreciate your being here. And I know it's a late at night, early in the morning for Simi. So thank you for being on. And Mo, one of our persons that's in our Apps with AI group. So I so appreciate the support. Coach Aki is one of the coaches that we have and our developer for tonight. So I thank Coach Aki. I have to give him all the props for all that he has done to make this happen. And so I will get started. Thank you all again for being here. I really appreciate your time and attention. And so what we're talking about tonight is Profit Pulse, the My Profit Pulse app. And we developed this app because I know in being a CPA over 40 something years that you didn't start your business to do accounting. That's not what persons go into business for. So this app is a tool that's going to help persons get clarity, business owners, whether they're entrepreneurs, business owners, as they call themselves, nonprofits, but persons who want to really know about their business, to be more confident in making decisions and improve their profitability. So what I know, every business owner that I have worked with in my, like I said, 40 plus years of being a CPA is just like this gentleman here, hands in their head in their hands. They didn't start their business to do the accounts. They don't want to be an accountant. If they were a baker, they want to bake. If they're a dentist, they love helping people have better health through their teeth. Whatever it is they do, that's what they want to do. And they don't want to stare at spreadsheets. And especially late at night, the construction guys that I have and the people that are doing a lot of manual labor, they're exhausted at night, even mental, exhausted. And sometimes it just don't have the time to look at the numbers. But if you don't look at the numbers, you don't know what you don't know. And I tell a story. It's like having a good accountant is like knowing where everything is in a house when the lights are off. When you are familiar with your house, you can walk in and not turn the lights on and go to where you need to go. You can go to the fridge at night in the dark and know where everything is, and you won't trip over everything because you know the house. Well, that's what accountants do. We know your house, but you need to know your house. So we want businesses to have profit freedom. What I call profit freedom is having profit in your business so you can have freedom in your life. And that's what Profit Pulse is all about. And so I am introducing tonight the My Profit Pulse app. I am so excited. If you can't tell, I'm so excited because this is a tool that's going to allow you to check your financial health, give you some financial dashboards. And I don't even like to use that term because sometimes people are like, dashboard, yuck. But they're easy to read financial information. And you can look at your financial information and do some what if planning, some scenarios. This app is unlike the others that you may have seen where it's just numbers on a page. And again, as I see my clients glaze over like deer in the headlights when they see the numbers, when they see graphs and charts, they want something that they can use that's going to help them and not have them just stare at spreadsheets. So, what I am looking to make sure persons can do is know their information before they change, before they make a move, before they make a decision. Look at what could happen, what might happen, what's the business condition, and what would happen if. So We want to be able to spot trends early to identify any hidden risks, but make sure that we build a strong foundation or stronger foundation if you already have a business that's doing what you want it to do and need it to do. As I mentioned, this isn't about looking at things, numbers, graphs, and charts. It's about numbers that make sense, dashboards of your financial health so that it makes sense to you. Your key numbers or metrics that are in a visually appealing way designed for decision makers, not accountant ease. And for accountants and for those who know me, I don't talk accountant ease. My team that's here, thank you for being here, team. We don't talk accountant ease. That's not what we do. We want the business owners to know and understand the numbers built for their business so that they can, at a glance, have clarity. Use it as whenever you update your numbers, that's when you can get information. It's real time. If you put the numbers in yesterday, you've got information for yesterday, when you run it, it'll be as of yesterday. And this will be built for you. It'll be your information in a way that you can see it where it makes sense to you. The thing I love about this app, one of my clients, when I was telling them what we were doing, said, we got to have what if scenarios. We definitely need to know what if. What if I want to hire somebody? What if I want to know what my break even is? What if I want to know how long my cash is going to last? This will allow us to think about those things and make some decisions. We want to be able to model some things that you want to know so that you can make good financial decisions, whether it's pricing decisions, hiring, growth, investments. This is the app for you to be able to look at making some of those decisions. Now, as I mentioned, I've been doing this over 40 years. I've been a CPA for over 40 years, believe it or not. And I really have begun to see my calling. I love helping people. And helping businesses is part of just who I am. That is what I do and who I am, and my team as well. We can attest to helping business owners, helping entrepreneurs, and especially a lot of times I deal with first-time business owners. I'll never forget the story of the guy who came to me when I was a banker who had a business. He wanted to start a shoe repair shop. He was putting his whole life savings into it. As a loan officer, he came to me with a shoebox of dreams. As an accountant, I knew I could take that shoebox and make it into something that made sense for him and for the loan committee who were going to make the decision. I said to him, I can't present this to a loan committee, but if you'll let me, if we work together, I can show you what you need to provide to the loan committee. That launched me into my business over 40 years ago. I knew I could help him, and I did. He walked in dejected. He had been turned down before for loans, but when he came to me, I knew how to help him. And that's what I know. I know how to help business owners. I know how to give them what they need to make decisions and help others help them make decisions if they're going to banks and other places. This will give business owners the strategy, the profit freedom, as I say. The name of my book that you see there, Profit Freedom, because I really have a mission to help business owners to be profitable, because most don't go into business because it's a hobby and they want to lose money. No, you want to go into business so that you can make money and enjoy your business and enjoy your life. That's the clarity that business owners deserve. That's the numbers that a business owner deserves. We have people that can help do the books and all those things, but once the books are done, then what? That's where Profit Pulse comes in. That's where we come in as CPAs and accountants. And this is where Profit Pulse comes in. So tonight, what we're about to do is go through the app, the Profit Pulse app. We're going to do a live demo, give you some scenarios and show you what happens in the dashboards, tell you about some future plans and some roadmap things that we have that are happening. And we have some special launch bonuses. And we're going to also have a time for your feedback and for Q&A. So think of your questions, think about what you might want as we look at this app. There may be things that are there already. They may be in our plans for going forward. Or there may be ideas that I like, wow, thank you. This is what you would need. So I am going to do a new share to share my screen. to bring up the Yay Profit Pulse app. So I have signed into Profit Pulse before, and so therefore it says welcome back. But if you were to sign in for the first time, that's the screen you would see. You could get some clarity where you could put in your name, your email address, your business name, and your industry has a great list of different types of industries. So as we go, you'll be able to look at some scenarios to compare your business to best practices. And then you'll put in your own password. We don't know it, but it's saved in the system so you can log in. And then you click on Get Started. Once you'll see my cursor there. So as you have seen, I've logged in already. So I am going to click on Log In, and it has saved my information. My password is there and my email is there. So I'm going to click on Log In, save us a little bit of time. And I had put some information in there before, and it's already letting me know, oh, let's get back on track. So if you did not have any information in there, this would have 0 in it. But this is just an idea to show you what it looks like when you've put in some information. I put in some financials from a startup company that I had worked with. Their profit was only $2,000. Their runway or their amount of cash that they have available, 0. So out of 100, their risk is critical. They're at 41. And so I'm going to go to some general information because we want to start from scratch. And I actually am going to show you. So when you come in initially, you're going to put in to upload a spreadsheet. Let's do this. And I'm going to go to, so there's scenarios in here. There's profit and loss that you can put in here. You can put in your cash flow. You can upload spreadsheets. So I am going to show you the way that you can put in information. So we are right now able to enter information manually. You can upload a spreadsheet, or coming soon will be a link to QuickBooks. So this requires you to upload a CSV spreadsheet. And I realized I'd done a couple of things. So you're going to, let me go back to the screen here and not have you see all of the crazy stuff that I had open as I was doing some testing. So it actually reverted back to the other screens that I had. So I am about to show you how we will upload the information. And let's see, I'm going to click on resume, and you'll see the information that I had, and my apologies because I had the information right here and it has moved from where I had it. So I am going to pull it back up. So my apologies for the tardiness. While I am doing that, let me ask if there are any questions in the meantime as I am pulling up the information for you. Are there any questions? Are there any things that you have seen so far as we have gone through Profit Pulse that you have questions on?
Joyce, what would you say is your favorite part of the app?
I love, and thank you for asking that question, Coach Aki. I think you might know, but actually, I am going to show you my favorite part, which is Pulse, which is the mascot that you see right there. And I'm going to move this out of the way so that you can see Pulsey and open this. So let me go back to, so the reason why that is my favorite is because this app, unlike a lot of things, I have found that my clients quite often just don't know business information. They may not even understand what balance sheet means, what things mean when they are looking at, sorry, it's done it again. When they are looking at what the financial information, here we go. So hopefully I'm looking at my screen so that you can see it. Let me make sure I'm doing a new share because I see that it is wanting to, there we go. So I am uploading a scenario. So I'm going to actually stop my share and start over. So I'm going back to the app. So my apologies. Technology is absolutely wonderful. And when it's great, it's great. And when it's not, there you go. So, all right, you are seeing my screen again. Okay, so choose file. Well, before I go to choose file, I was asked, what's my favorite part of the app? And so I am going to let you know about Pulsey. I call her Pulsey or Pulse. Pulse is your home base. So thank you for asking about that, Coach. Pulse is here to give you information. When you first sign in, you'll see her. She actually is floating around. She's there to give you some feeling like, hey, this is a comfortable place to be. But when you click on her, you can find out information. You can understand about your score. You can understand about cash, profit, position, planning. And so, as you'll see, there's information about cash position. What is cash position? It's how much money you have in the bank right now, not what you will be paid or what you have earned, but what's available to you right now. Cash flow. What is cash flow? The money that's going in and out of your business each month. What is cash runway? How many months can your business keep on running with the cash that you have? What is your burn rate? How much you're spending? So there are terms and terminology we use surrounding these things. And quite often people may not know what that means. What is revenue? Is that same or different from profit? What are expenses? Well, revenue is the money that your business brings in. Your expenses are the money that you spend. The cost of goods sold are the things you spend to produce your service or your product. And your gross profit is what's left from your revenue after cost of goods sold. So when you go in here, you have it's a glossary. That's something that I haven't found in a lot of places when I work with clients and they'll say, well, what does that mean? And I tell people all the time that I train business owners, have you ever watched Shark Tank? Well, do you understand what they're saying when they're talking about burn rate, when they talk about the percentages and all the things that they talk about on Shark Tank? I quite often find that they don't know what that means. They don't know what those numbers mean, how they would do that for themselves. That's why I like Pulsey. So that is my favorite part of this app. So let's go back to uploading a spreadsheet. And so we're going to choose a file and we're going to take a multi-year scenario that we have. So right now it's reading the spreadsheet. And as I mentioned, it's a CSV file. So it's an Excel file, but in a format that if you upload spreadsheets to QuickBooks, but you just click on CSV to save it as CSV instead of save it as an Excel spreadsheet. And you'll see that we had 3 months of data in the spreadsheet. And I'll show you the spreadsheet in a little bit so you can compare and see what the spreadsheet looks like compared to what's here. So the total income for February, 64,000, gross profit, 53,800, total expenses, 35,850. for an operating income of 17,950. If we click on March, you'll see the numbers a little different. Total expenses, net operating income, 21,690. And then April, the net profit, 19,520. When we look at our gross profit margin, we see it's 83.2%. So that is the gross profit into the revenue. Our net profit margin, 29.6%. Then we're looking at what our assets are, our current assets, our fixed assets, our total assets, our liabilities, our equity, and then what our working capital is, and then what the current ratio is, the return on assets and return on equity. And the thing about this is, we'll be able to show you how that compares to the industry. So that's something that's coming very soon. And with your cash flow, you'll be able to see your operating activities, your investing, your financing, and what your net cash flow is. So I am going to reshare to show you what the actual financial statements looked like in the raw form, so you can have an idea of what we put in so that you'll see how that information came into Profit Pulse. So this is a spreadsheet that you could have downloaded from something that your accountant, or if you're keeping it yourself in a spreadsheet, or you could have downloaded it from QuickBooks. So until we actually connect with QuickBooks, you'll be able to use the spreadsheets that QuickBooks generates for you. So this company, Riverside Consulting, this is the revenue that they had February, March, April, the service revenue, their retainer revenue, other income, their total revenue, which were the amounts that we saw in Profit Pulse. You see there's the detail of their cost of goods sold, their operating expenses. So this is their income statement. Then in another tab is their balance sheet, where you can see their assets, their current assets, their long-term assets, and their liabilities and their equity. And then we have the cash flow statement. So we have the income, and then the items from operating activities, the cash investing activities, the financing activities, and the net change in cash. So all of those things those are what were used in order to generate the numbers that Profit Pulse gives you. So once we put this information in, I'm going to click Save the 3 months. And now in your data ledger, you'll see those 3 months saved. You can refresh it if you realize that your numbers have changed or that you need to do something else. Now, your P&L, your profit and loss, this tells you, and I am, as she says, she is letting you know this is her favorite page because it tells you where your money went and what you kept. So you'll see expenses in purple, income in orange, and you'll see March, and you'll see the numbers right there that pop up for you. April, and you'll see the numbers pop right up there for you. And you'll see your total income, your gross profit, your total expenses, your net profit for the last 3 months. You can look at last month, and you see you can look at the last 6 months if you had them in here, and the last 12 months. You can see a summary, your income compared to the prior year. We didn't have prior year in here. You can see it compared to the prior month. And so you can see if it was up or down. So you'll see this is red and going down. Prior month was higher, so it went down in this month. So red is not as good as green. And so the green, the total expenses were lower, which is a good thing. And so net operating income is higher, which is good. And so this gives you a summary of your profit and loss. This is a summary of your cash flow. So you can see your trend. February was 17,050, March 15, and now all the way down in April to 8,000. So cash is going down. So you see this trend of cash. You'll see your operating activities they're down, investing activities down, and net cash flow down. So this is giving you some information we can put in March, and it will compare, and February. So the months that you have in here, it will show you. And then we have the balance sheet. And you can see the ratios, the working capital, your return on assets, your return on equity. You'll see your summary of the balance sheet, the prior year, if there was any prior year, and your variance. One of the things, and so we talked about the data, you can change your settings. Of course, in here, you can change what type of business you are. You can select your industry, your integrations that we have, like I said, QuickBooks is coming, notifications, if you want them turned on. You can let it tell you information weekly, and you can get updates on when we make updates to Profit Pulse. There's information about the billing. We'll talk about that, and your account. You can change your password at any time. You can manage your security settings. So if you want to put the picture in, you can, and that way when it comes up, you'll see the picture that you want there. Now, one of the other parts that I really, really like about this app are the scenarios. This is the thing that my client said, you must have this, Joyce. You must have scenarios, the what if calculator. So the scenarios we have now are break even, goal planning, can you hire, and cash runway, the cash that you have available. Let's look at break even. So your monthly fixed expenses, we can go back to the statement that we had, and we can put in, let's see, I paused screen sharing. My apologies. Let me resume screen sharing. So let's put in our fixed expenses that we had in, and I'm going to go back to the P&L, and it's saying no. Let's see, let's connect our data again. So I may not have saved that spreadsheet, or this is something where it may have been that it got lost in my going in and out. So that's something we need to double check. So the expenses that we see are 35. So we'll put 35 in any given month. And our income has been 64, 69, 65. And so this gives us an idea of what our expenses and our income have been. So when we go back to scenarios, and I'm going to go back to break even. So the fixed expenses are the things that we know are the same every single month. So let's say that our fixed expenses are 10,000. Those things that we know we have to have every single month, your rent and your utilities, your internet, those things. And let's say your average price of the services from this company were 5,000 a month. And so your variable cost per service, so the things that it takes to actually do that service, let's say that they're $500 per client or per service. So we can calculate break even. And to break even for this company, they only have to do 3 units a month. If each thing is 5,000 a month and their fixed expenses are 10,000 and their cost variable per item, they only have to do 3 sales per month in order to make sure they cover those expenses. So that's not the profit, that's just break even. Now I'm going to change this. What if we said that our monthly fixed expenses were $20,000? Now you see it's going to take 5 units per month in order to make sure that they cover those fixed expenses. So this is where they can put in additional information. They can say, okay, I know I'm going to look at rent being increased by $5,000, and they can put that in and see how much more do I have to sell in order to cover that rent. So we can save the scenario, and there are some things that sometimes it will save. We are working on some of those little things. So that's why Coach Key is here, so we can see these different scenarios and what happens. So can I hire? So let's say we want someone to have a $50,000 salary, and their benefits and overhead, we're estimating at 25%. Now, if you find that that's way off for your industry or where you are, let us know. We can think about that. So if we want to hire right now, let's see, can we afford it? Not quite yet, but here's what needs to change. We need 5,000 more in profit each month in order to hire somebody that we pay 50,000. What if we decide that we're going to pay somebody 25,000 a month? And let's check affordability. Not quite yet. We need 2,604 per month more in profit in order to hire that person. What if we wanted to pay them 10,000 a month? Can we afford it? Not quite yet. We need 1,042 more dollars in order to do that. And in 5 months, we are going to need that much more because our income has been pretty much the same. So those are some scenarios regarding can you hire? We have other scenarios about goal planning. This is where you want to put in your annual revenue goal. 500,000 is an example of being in there. Our current monthly income is about 65,000, and our current monthly expenses have been about 35,000. So our year-to-date revenue, if we have had 60,000, let's say over 6 months, let's say we've made 360,000 so far, and our year-to-date expenses, and we actually have had 5 months of the year, but I'm just rounding numbers just to give you some sense of the numbers. And I'm just making a note for some things for us to look at. So let's say that if we have been at 30,000 for, and I need to just make sure the numbers are going to work somewhat. And so let's say that we have 210,000 so far. And let's say that there's 6 months remaining in the year. And calculate our monthly target. So in order to hit 500,000 by the end of the year, we need to make sure we make 2,333 per month each month over the next 6 months. What if we wanted to hit $1 million? Let's calculate that monthly target. To make $1 million, we would have to increase by 36% and do 106,000 per month. So we need to increase from the 65,000 we're in now to 106,000. So again, if you have an idea of the scenarios that you have, then you will be able to tell what you've got to do. Based on these scenarios, you can put in your goal, you can put in the information for what you would like for your annual revenue and get an idea of what you need to do. Last but not least, cash runway. So let's say you have $50,000 of cash on hand and your monthly burn rate, we're going to work on making sure that this calculates based on what your numbers are that you're putting in. But if you're bringing in 60,000 and spending 30,000, you're burning 30,000 per month or so. So if you needed to pay your expenses, you have 1.7 months of expenses. That's critical. That's what Pulsey is letting you know. That's what Miss Pulse is letting you know, that you only have 1.7 months of your expenses with only $50,000 in cash if you're spending $30,000 a month, if you're burning $30,000 a month in cash. So these scenarios are what makes Profit Pulse something that you can use or your clients can use business owners can use to make sense of their numbers. And I've been just pulling numbers, based on this company. Your numbers could be larger, your numbers could be smaller for your various clients. And again, the glossary tells you all about those things that we were just talking about. And it tells you about the what ifs. It tells you about the planning, the break even. And that is where we are with Profit Pulse. Now, this is the main screen that you would come on when I was first on. It came to the information that had been saved in here. When you first come on Profit Pulse, you're going to complete your assessment, which is uploading your spreadsheets, which is what we did a little earlier. And let's see, let me pause so I can get to the spreadsheet because it did not pop up again for some reason. But I'm just going to go through showing you how to get to it from this screen. And this has wanted to disappear again for me for whatever reason. Very interesting, because I had it here and you saw it, right? And it never fails that when you're wanting something to be right there handy, it likes to disappear. So this screen, and I apologize, let me resume and go on to the share for the slideshow, because I will come back to that versus you're looking at all of my items that are, and why it's very interesting. There we go. We're back to the agenda. So, but I will go back, but that's the screen that you would normally come onto. As I mentioned, that would have shown you, and you would upload your spreadsheet from there. So you can upload your spreadsheet in the data area or when you first get onto the dashboard. So as we mentioned, we talked about the live app, showing you some dashboard and scenario tools and future plans. Some of the things that we're planning to look at as we are working on the app are that you mentioned the QuickBooks integration, that you're going to be able to link this into QuickBooks so that it automatically pulls in your financials. There are going to be some more insights. So your CFO layer, your CFO brain, the things that I do that we can pretty much automate, we're going to be able to provide that to you. So you can look at that and think about the top 3 that you need to help your business to grow in the next 30, 60, 90 days. And we're going to have some priority ranking where you're going to be able to rank your business decisions by the impact based on what you find or what you've said are the things that are most important to you. We're also looking at putting in a health score checklist, and you can let me know at the end if you think that's helpful for you or not. I have a checklist that I do for my clients to give an idea of where their health is before they even start doing the numbers and things like that with us. Where are you right now? So there is a health assessment we're thinking about doing that can give you a financial health score that you can start with before you even start putting in numbers. And you can let us know if these things are something you think you would like and if they're going to be helpful. So tonight, we have some thoughts and some bonuses for you. For those of you who have come on tonight, we so appreciate and thank you that you are here and that you have decided to come on. So Miss Kelly, and I know Mo was on with us earlier as well. And there are a couple people who did let me know that they were unable to come on. We had some things happen. Of course, technology is as it is, and some things happened that the emails did not go out as intended in the time we thought. So there's some people who couldn't reschedule some things, so they're going to get a chance to watch the replay. A specific group of people who have let me know they want to watch the replay and be part of this launch, even though they're not physically here, they're going to see it later. And for them and for you, just those who are watching tonight's offer, tonight's launch, and all the glitches and things that we did, I am offering you the ability to get this at a discount. The normal price for the monthly use of Profit Pulse, if you pay by month, is $59 a month. But for those on tonight and the few people that have said that they will watch this and let me know within the next week whether they want to join into the subscription or not, it would be $47 a month forever. Now, there's going to be lots of things we're doing, as you can see, to upgrade and make this better and better and better. And we're going to be tying into QuickBooks. And it may even be that we can tie into some other types of accounting apps and packages as well. We're going to be seeing how we do over time. And for those who want to pay for 12 months all at once, it's $588 a year normally, which is like $49 a month, because it is a little cheaper if you were more advantageous savings if you decide to pay 12 months at once. But tonight, those on the founders launch would get it at $412 for the year. So that's 30% off to do 12 months at once, or $34.50 per month. If you're interested, that's the link to go on, MyProfitPulse.app/launch. So you can let me know if you're interested in that. The other thing that I want to let you know is that we have also an affiliate program that is coming soon. If you have people that you are interested in telling about this app, if you have friends, family that could benefit from this, businesses that could benefit from this, you can get some affiliate income. And I thought it was on the bottom of the slide. I realized it isn't, so my apologies. So it's going to be, and let me see, I think it was, I potentially had, yep, I do have it on the next slide. I was thinking I did. So share in profit freedom, having profit in your business and freedom in your life. If you want to share Profit Pulse with other business owners, inform them about the MyProfitPulse app. And with the affiliate program, you can refer others and get 25% of their 12 months of their subscription, or you can decide, I want to get 20%, but always, not just the first year, but if they do it for 5 years, 15 years, however long, I want to continually get some income. That's some residual income that you can get for referring others. So if you are interested in referring others, let us know and we can get you set up for that. So I want to sincerely, sincerely, sincerely thank you all for your time tonight. I wanted to make sure I kept this under an hour, which we have. So this is the time for any questions, and please, your feedback. If you have thoughts on the app, if you have things that you've seen that you would like to see differently, if you would like to ask questions about what's coming up, things that you think it could do differently, add to the app, this is your time. I really would appreciate honest and your critique, your thoughts. Let me know. So, what is your feedback and any questions that you might have? Fire away or put it in the chat. I know, Simi, it's really, really late for you. And so you may not want to wake up all the people in the house. So, let me know, or any of the people, if there are others that you're with. But if you have questions, please let me know. Kelly, Simi, Sade, Aki, please let me know if you have any questions. Well, let me ask, is this something that you think you would use if you're a business owner, or that your clients would use? Thumbs up or thumbs down, or unmute, or put it in the chat. Is this something you think would be useful, or what parts would be?
So I would definitely use this, and great job, Joyce. I really enjoyed your presentation. Um, actually, I have a question. How I know that you have sort of like an ecosystem of different things that you do as an accountant. How do you envision Profit Pulse sort of fitting into your ecosystem?
Thank you for that question. So what we are looking at is, and as we go, and sorry, I'm going to get a sip of water. As we go, we're going to be enhancing the app and letting people know how it ties in is my book. If people are interested in my book, it's available. But also, we can offer people assistance with getting their books done so they can help get the help with Profit Pulse. Also, if they find that they need more help, they've done the scenario and they say, oh my gosh, I need to earn another $20,000 before the end of the year to make my goal. What do I do? How do I do that? Where can I save? Where can I earn more income? As I look at these numbers, what can I do to help my financial situation? Some business owners need that other set of eyes. I consider myself like a business partner with my clients. Their fusion family, as Kelly has seen with the project that we worked on. I like to help businesses to get to the place where they want to go. And so, what I will be able to do is look at the information from Profit Pulse and help them with Fusion for Business to be able to say, hey, this is something that I would suggest you do. This is something that I suggest you stop doing. Here is where money is leaking. Profit Pulse can tell you some of those things, but how you implement them and how you put them into practice, sometimes you need a professional to help you with that. So that's where we can help. And that's how it fits in with our ecosystem. And Kelly, I hope that answered your question, Coach Aki.
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Kelly, thanks. You had unmuted as well.
Hi, yes, thank you. Yes, it definitely looks very interesting and something that I could potentially use. But I guess just to try and understand it better, it kind of sort of consolidates all of your sort of day-to-day and then sort of gives you a projection of where you're going or how well you're doing.
Yeah.
So um, there has to be obviously some work that goes in before that. When you say like the spreadsheets and all of that, they look very quite detailed. But I guess I'm just trying to figure out like, are all spreadsheets that detailed? Can it be just kind of um um
Like just
like a
income.
download from your like whatever you're using that consolidates all of your work anyway, or does like I guess I'm just trying to figure out the transition and what might be needed to actually make this functional.
So I am thinking a couple of things as you ask that question. So you don't have to have the detail. I actually had uploaded another spreadsheet, which is why it came back to all the stuff that was showing. I had uploaded a spreadsheet that just had a revenue line and an expense line. It didn't have cost of goods sold or cost of services. And so that was in A. So, there are some things that are not applicable if you don't have cost of goods sold or cost of services. So you can just have income, expenses, net profit. And your assets could be just cash. You may not have receivables or fixed assets or any of that. So cash, you may or may not have any liabilities. You may just have equity. So, because that's your balance sheet, they have to balance your cash and your liabilities and equity. So you may have $500 in cash and $500 in equity, and that's all you have to put in. What just hit me for some businesses that are starting, they might be able to use their bank statements. And Coach Aki, this is something we may need to think about for very small businesses. And their income, all their deposits could be their income, and all their money out could be their expenses. If they're just using their bank statement just for business purposes. And that detail of all of the things that they're spending it on may not be there. But that's where, again, having some bookkeepers to assist a business with how are you spending the money? Because that's one thing, is to be able to look at the detail and to say, okay, where am I spending the money? Is this summer program doing better than the ongoing program? Is this one course doing better than, this or that? So the detail will help, but you could still use Profit Pulse if you don't have that detail, I think. Now, again, I would say looking at the how to help that business, you would need a little bit more detail in order to know how to help. But you could take just sales, income, and expenses paid, and that could give you the information that could go into Profit Pulse. And that's where too, if you want to know how to hire, for example, if you just have, like I have a client who has a dance school, and if they put in all of the total of all of the courses that they've taught and all of the expenses, and then they say, maybe I want to hire another dance teacher. They could put that information in from just their total income, their total expenses, and then they can look at how much have they earned over the last couple of months, and they can then say, okay, well, I think I want to hire a teacher at $5 an hour, 5 days a week, 5 hours a week. And they can put that information in, and it could tell them, do they have enough, or how much will they need to bring that person on? So I think hopefully that helped. Hope that made some sense. So you can be high level. More detail will help the person make better decisions, but Profit Pulse could work with the detail or with the summary. Did that help?
Yes, thank you. I was thinking about if the bank statements were something that you could use too, but I'm assuming that you'll have to break down these numbers and then plug it in, I guess. But I mean, we can, to get into details, we can always talk about it further. But yes, I get what you're saying.
And Coach, this is something that I think we could look at taking the summary of deposits and the summary of expenses, and that could be the income and that could be the expenses and for the spreadsheet that's uploaded. So, we can talk about that. That may be something that may be able to be done. But go ahead, Coach. I see you unmuted.
Yeah, no, I think bank statements is a good idea, and I think that's good feedback as well, because I think that creates less friction, especially for um, newer business owners, or being able to put in even more unstructured numbers or data too.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yes. Any other thoughts? Any other feedback or things that you think could be helpful to add, or information that you don't see or have questions on what you saw? And I will ask a question of you guys. Do you think it would be helpful to have comparative information or some benchmarks from other businesses in the industry?
Yes, that would be good too, because then you can sort of gauge where, because sometimes you can think you're charging too much, or but then you're not covering your expenses, and maybe you can see why. Is it because the smaller numbers, or they have more so they can charge less, or whatever?
Yeah. Okay. That's good feedback. Awesome. Awesome. And for the inputs of information, as I was looking at some things as I was putting it in, I was realizing there are some things that we probably could have Profit Pulse compute, because I realize we put in how much we have spent on a monthly basis, but Profit Pulse can probably average that or use that information that's already in there. And you could override it, of course, if you know what your future spending is expected to be. But if you know what it has been, Profit Pulse can probably do some averages and put some of that information in some of those screens as well. Um, So from Sade, Simi, Kelly, and Coach Aki, do you think most businesses have the information that would be able to help them with the scenarios? Do you think that they would be able to provide the information?
I think most businesses do. I think to a point you made earlier that you don't have to have all the details in order to get back helpful, feedback or information. And I think that Profit Pulse can also work with what you have as well. And I think that's one of um, the helpful parts of the app, which is that there is an AI layer to it. So the information that you have, it's able to take that and also give you insights and feedback based off of that.
Awesome, thank you. Um, and Simi, I saw your hand up. Was that a yes or was that a question? And Kelly, you unmuted, I think.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask one other thing. I see that you had the is it post, and so you can ask questions about the app itself, which is good too. But for the initial setup, is there like someone that could kind of guide, like sort of like I guess an initial setup, and then you
Mhm.
kind of and then you can use the polls to kind of as you go monthly.
That's a great question. We could take a look at that. That, a help desk kind of thing. And it could be that there are some general questions. Well, I will say one of the things that is not in here right now is a video demo. I have done a video demo, but I needed to shorten it and it didn't come out the way I wanted it to put up on the landing page. So there's going to be a video. Would that be helpful, or are you thinking there may need to be like a help desk number where somebody can call and ask questions?
Um, I know for me, sometimes it's like the apps and things doing it not necessarily automate tech savvy. So I think just for people that are just not that inclined until they can get going with it, just sort of learning the sort of platform. But I think generally, going through like a video should be sort of okay. But I guess just sort of that far off that one-off thing that you just couldn't get your head wrapped around. That was the only thing.
Sure,
I
sure.
mean, it might be even much more easier than I can be thinking in my mind. That'll be to set up initially too.
Got you. And hopefully it is simple from what you saw. And Kent, welcome. We were wrapping up. I can do a quick overview as well as we go. But as we go back over a couple of things. But Kelly, thank you for that because we may need to do a help desk. And I think for small businesses, sometimes they may not be familiar with apps. Hopefully this is user-friendly and able to be easily used. But we will look at having Pulse be able to answer some questions as well as maybe have an availability like for myself or one of our team to be able to answer questions. Simi, your hand is up. You have a question?
Hello, Joyce,
Hi.
and thank you for the chance to raise my question. But first of all, I did post some of the questions in chat.
Oh, my apologies. I am seeing all kinds of, yes, let
Yeah,
me,
but just one different question or maybe
okay.
suggestion. I think that maybe the app can be useful for some kind of organizations that work based on budgets. So
Yeah.
if the app can have some kind of way of reading budgets, and they can give kind of a lean review of the expenses or projections, it can be something helpful and can be some kind of additional usability of the app. that was the suggestion that I was to raise. Thank you very much, Joyce.
Thank you for that. And I do like that idea of maybe inputting the budget, being able to input a budget. And you asked, is the app able to combine financial insights with real business context and operations? And yes, that is the purpose, is to look at the actual numbers and combine. So we're going to have some CFO level insights to add to it. And some assumptions are fixed, but we may be able to, and I think that will be version 2. So Coach Key, that 25% amount. And so I'm going to go back to, where did it go? The app itself. And because I think you're right that we could look at the app having different availabilities to be able to say, hey, what if it's not 20%? What if it is, or what if it's not 25%, but 20% for the, sorry, I'm just trying to move my screen so that I can pull this up. All right. So let me share. And hopefully, Kent, you can see this was the example of one of the spreadsheets that we uploaded. And so I'm going to just choose another file. I had some information in here for the launch. And so let's look at the income statement and the balance sheet for a different company. And so it's processing the information. And so this is a company, and this is just May, for example, instead of a couple of months. So Kent, this is so you can see how this works. We uploaded some information, and total income a lot lower than the other example that we gave. And this is Kelly, more like the company you were talking about, if it just had simple information, just income and expenses, for example. So income, no gross profit because there's no cost of goods sold, total expenses, net operating income. And so just assets, no other information, just plain assets, and no, fixed assets, just cash. And then just the equity is the same. And so we did not put in a cash flow statement, but this is where we're going to look at Profit Pulse being able to develop that. Now, Simi, what you were talking about with can I hire, if you wanted to hire somebody, let's say at a $20,000 a year, this is where you were asking, could this 25% be different? Because your company may only pay 10%. Because we are looking at places that are like you're in South Africa, some places in the Caribbean, or different places, the US may not be 25%. So Coach, this is something that we can look at. Maybe this can be a drop down where this computation can be different amounts. And to check affordability, nope, you can't afford to hire yet because you need $2,000 more in profit per month in order to hire for the annual salary. Maybe you only want to pay them $5,000 a year. They're really, really part-time. And can you check affordability? Nope, you need another $521 a month in order to pay them even just $5,000 a year. So that's but what I was just trying to show is one, Kent, to give him a little idea of how the scenarios work, what this does, and to show you, Simi, that and everybody, that this 25% was what you had mentioned. Is that something that could change? So some assumptions are fixed for right now, but it may be that we also offer some different levels or tiers where there more functionality and more flexibility when you pay for a higher level. And there will be availability to say, can you hire in 6 months? And that would be, showing some trends where we would say, okay, this is how your income is growing. So based on the budget and things like that, then you would be able to say, okay, can I hire in 6 months? Can I hire in 8 months? And so forth. And Kent, just to reiterate for you, we have some break-even calculators in here. We have
Thank
goal
you.
planning. We have so these are the scenarios: cash runway, how much cash do you have in order to be able to run for the next how many months based on the cash that you have in your burn rate. And one of the things we have is a glossary in here. And so this is Profit Pulse. One of the questions I did want to ask, what do you think about the pricing? And I know, Kent, you just came in, but Kelly, Simi, Coach Aki, Sade, Kelly, and I know, your business, you had asked about some things. What do you think about the pricing for this app? As I mentioned, and let me share back with the PowerPoint, that the plan tonight would be $47 a month, $412 a year if you pay for it annually. But on a regular basis, it would be $59 a month and $588 per year. Is that something you think most businesses would be able to afford and look to be able to do? What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, I think I was a little nervous myself because as a growing business, you don't want to, get into so much but this is a little chunk at a time, so I think it looks doable.
Okay, great. Okay. And it's intended to help people to be able to not have to spend as much on, someone, picking up the phone and asking an accountant or a CFO about these things, that this is at your fingertips so you can do it yourself and have that information. And again, and Kent, I can go over some more detail with you as well, but this is an affiliate program that we have, and we were just, as you came in, going over questions and feedback. And so I don't know if there are any other questions or feedback, and Kent, I can give you some more information. I have had everybody on here an hour and a little bit. So I do want to make sure I honor everyone's time. Any other thoughts or questions? And thank you for the congratulations. Thank you very much, Sade. I appreciate that. And Simi, thank you as well for this, and thank you for the ideas that we've had. I see somebody else coming in, so I may go back over this for the two of you, Teresa and Kent. I don't know if you have time to stay on, Coach Aki. If not, I understand. But and thank you, Sade, that it seems affordable. Any other questions? I can go back over. Kent and Teresa, you guys joined. We were just wrapping up, but I can go back through it a bit for you so you can see the app.
Just a brief yes, that would be great. I don't want to keep anybody back though, so
No
yeah.
problem. So I know, Sade, it's a different time zone in Texas. Simi, I know it's very, very late for you. And Kelly, you've been on an hour. So if you guys would like to leave now, I know
Yeah,
you've
all
got
right.
your questions.
Thank you. I'll be in touch.
Thank you so much, Kelly. I really appreciate it. Coach Aki, thank you. I appreciate your time and your feedback, and we'll be following up. And so if Kelly, you got to go, thank you again. And Sade and Simi, if you have to go, I completely understand because you guys have been on for a while. Thank you again so much for being on. I really, really appreciate it. And so, all right. So what I'm going to do is go back to the beginning for the two of you. So thank you, Kent, and thank you, Teresa.
Thank you. Sorry.
Understood.
Yeah, I'm in the UK, so it's after midnight, so I sort of miscalculated.
Oh my.
So
Oh,
yeah, but I want to catch it. So sorry, I just came in at the end, but I thought maybe sometime in the future we can go over it. But I can stay on I guess if you brief,
Just a
I
few
guess.
minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not going to
I can
take
stay
you
on
long
a
to
few more
go
minutes.
over. So
Yeah.
what this is this an app, as you saw in the information that I emailed out, an app to help business owners, because I know most business owners didn't get into business to do books. They're not accountants, don't want to be accountants. And
Right.
so this app is basically to make sure that they have what they need to improve their profitability and make good business decisions. I have, as you all know, I probably have been in this over 40 years, and I started my business because I know people need good accounting. They need numbers that they know what they're doing in their business, but they don't want to be accountants. Most people don't like numbers. They don't want to deal with numbers. They want it to be simple and easy. That's what this is for, to make it simple and easy. I believe in profit freedom, to have profit in your business, to have freedom in your life. You want to know where your money is going. And so that's why I introduced this app. It gives you health check. It gives you dashboards. And I don't even like to call them dashboards because people are like, what is a dashboard? But it's really financial information that you can easily digest to see what's going on. And the thing that I really had a client who said, Joyce, when you do this, please, what if scenarios? Because that's what I would get from clients a lot. What if I do this? What if I do that? How does that impact my business? That this includes that. So the big thing is to have some information before you make changes, before you decide, before you say, can I rent? Can I, increase my rent? Can I get a warehouse? Can I hire somebody? How do I know whether I can do that or not? That's what this app also helps with. It'll help you spot your trends before it gets out of hand. It'll help you identify any hidden risks, and it will help you build a good foundation, help business owners know where they're healthy or where they may not be. And so I know that there are a lot of enterprise systems that cost a lot, and dashboards, as they say, with all these numbers and graphs and charts. And my clients are like, I don't want any of that. Just tell me what the numbers mean. That's what this is. Not spreadsheets that are confusing. Just what are the metrics? What are the numbers so they can make decisions? I don't want them to be accountants. I don't want them to have to make sense of accountantese, as I call it. So this is so that at a glance you can see what is going on, how you can use it real time, meaning that if you put the information in today based on yesterday's information, you'll be able to see yesterday's information. It's as timely as you put it in the information. And it's built for your business. You're using your own information to put this information in. The thing I love about this is it has what if scenarios. What if you want to hire? Again, what is your break even? How much cash will you have? How long will your cash last? How can I make my revenue goal? What do I have to do? And so you all know me that just joined. I do this because I love to help people, and helping businesses is my thing. I started this over 40 years ago because I was a loan officer at a bank. A gentleman came in with a shoe box. He wanted to start a shoe repair business. And he had been turned down before for loans, but he'd heard about me as a Black person helping business owners and said, how can you help me? I need a loan. And I said, well, I can't take your shoebox to the loan committee. I said, but if you work with me, I said, I'm a CPA and I know how to help businesses. I know how to make your numbers make sense. I took his shoebox and gave him financial statements that made sense to him and made sense to the loan committee. That's when I realized I had to start a business. That was my gift. That is my calling. I can help people understand what their numbers mean. And that's why I do this. And so that's why I wrote my book, Profit Freedom, because I want people to have profit in their business and have freedom in their life. So what we did tonight, now I'll go real quickly over a little live demo, some of the scenarios that the app shows. And I'll let you know about some things we're thinking of that are coming. And for you guys who are on tonight, there are some launch bonuses. And then if you have time to give me some feedback, that would be awesome, to let me know what your thoughts are about the app. So what I'm going to do now is actually share the Profit Pulse app. And I have some screens that keep popping up. So here we go. All right. And so I will show you the sign on. The sign on is real simple. I don't think I need to go over that with you, but you put in your name, your email, and a password. And you can put in what industry you're in so that you can get some comparisons of best practices in your industry. So the main thing is the dashboard. And what you do is, so we're going to put in a health assessment that before you even put in numbers, you can do a health assessment. But you can upload your spreadsheets. If at some point we're going to be allowing people to connect to QuickBooks, or you can enter your information manually. So to upload your spreadsheets, I'm going to go to some test files that I have, and they have some real simple information. I do have a spreadsheet that has multiple months in it as well, but I'm just going to show you the real simple one. And so this was just May's information, just general income, expenses, what your operating income was, with quick and easy balance sheet. I didn't put in a profit and loss, but we will have this probably automatically calculate a profit and loss. I mean, a cash flow, sorry, based on the P&L and the balance sheet put in. And so this, you can put in how many employees you have, and then what is your biggest financial worry, helps it to tell you what you need to think about, what you need to do. Now, the thing that you see here is my mascot. You can see your health assessment, but this little mascot here tells you about, it has a glossary. It tells you what these things mean. Because some people don't know what cash position, cash flow, what cash runway is, what is burn rate, what is profit, what is gross profit, net profit, profit margin. So we have a glossary in here of information so that, and I realize I did not go into savings. So let me see if I go back. So yeah, I didn't save as I went into taking a look at that. So I'm going to make a note of save where you are. Couple little things as we look at. So this is the information. And so to see your health assessment, so it actually, for some reason, I'm going to put this back in. I think because I've been doing this a lot, it's not saving the information like it was. But I'm going to put in the income statement again. And once you put the information in, this is the information I had just put in. I'm going to see if it's going to save the dashboard. For some reason, it's not saving. Because, and so what it was showing earlier was the dashboard that showed income trends. I'm going to see if I can go into my other one because I had done this. Let's see. So this is where I had put in the information earlier, and it's a small profit, little cash flow, so very little cash runway. 41%, which is critical, meaning that out of 100, the business is at risk with its financial health. So it's showing you a profit and loss snapshot, the income trends. So this is some information I put in for another company. So this one was a financial statement that for April, the income was 65.9, the gross profit was 54.8, total expenses 13, so net profit was 19. And you can see the difference from month to month. And so you can run a scenario. What is break even? So if your monthly fixed expenses are like 35,000, let's say your average price per service is 500. If your variable costs are 50, if you calculate break even, you need to sell 80 units per month in order to cover your expenses. So this is what, and so yeah, so this time it is saving. It's something I will find out what's happening with the save and using it over and over. Can you hire? There's a scenario in here for can you hire? If you want to hire somebody at $25,000, their overheads, are like 62,000 if at 25%. So check affordability. Yep, you can afford to hire this person because you still have 2,000, 25,000 in profit. Your current monthly profit is 28,000. So after hiring, you would have 25,546. So this is what Profit Pulse does that helps a business owner to look at these various scenarios. What is the cash runway? Again, you can put the information in. If you have 160,500 and your monthly burn rate is 35,000, then you have 4.5 months to operate at your current spending levels. So Profit Pulse, you can you have your glossary, you can change, you have your own settings, you can change your password at any time. But the whole purpose of this, hopefully, is a little clear. Hopefully I didn't go too fast over it, but you have your information to look at your features of your business. You can look at various scenarios. As I mentioned, we're going to be looking to be able to upload with QuickBooks. We're going to be adding what we call an intelligence layer where you kind of have CFO's brain, where we are going to provide insights where you can think about the top 3 things you want to do in your business and how that can help you to grow profit, or what do you need to do in order to grow profit over the next 30, 60, 90 days. And we're going to look at a priority ranking system that can rank your decisions by business impact. One of the things that we are looking at doing as well is putting in your budget so you can do some scenarios, but we may also have the budget upload so that you can compare, because we have some comparisons to how you get to your budget for the end of the year. How many months will it take you, or what do you have to earn each month in order to get to your income target? That's something I didn't show you, but that's one of the scenarios available as well. So that is Profit Pulse. And what I have offered people who came on tonight is that normally it's $59 a month for Profit Pulse. But if you would like to say, yep, this is something that is of interest to me, as a founder's launch, I'm offering it for $47 a month lifetime. With all the things that we're going to be adding and doing, enhancing, this is going to definitely be growing over time. You would still stay in for $47 a month. And each year it probably will go up a little bit because of the different things that we're doing. Like it costs quite a bit to link to QuickBooks. There's some things that they charge us, the hosting of it, and all of that. But what we want to do is say, for people who believe in this now and want to get started now, $47 a month. If you pay for it annually, it's $588 a year because you save money on paying for it all at once, 12 months all at once. But it will be $412 a year, and that's lifetime if you decide tonight. Or I give people a week that if you decide that you want to do that. So that's 30% off. If in order to do that, you would go to MyProfitPulse. So www.myprofitpulse.app/launch, and you can get those special VIP pricing. And I'm offering people that share the love. If you know of other business owners who you think can use this, we're offering an affiliate program where you can earn recurring revenue off of what people are paying for their subscription. So I would share 25% of the revenue with you, not the profit, the revenue with you for their first 12 months. And if you want to do it for lifetime, as long as they keep it, you would get 20% of the revenue. So that is something else that we're looking at in sharing the love, or sharing the profit freedom, having profit in your business and freedom in your life. So I went through it quickly. I talked fast, but hopefully that made sense. I see you unmuted, Kent, and Teresa. I don't know if you have any questions, if you have any thoughts, feedback, things that you think could be added.
Yes.
Please.
Sorry. Okay, I have three questions.
Perfect.
First one is, what was the sign up URL again? My Profit Pulse.
Yes, MyProfitPulse.app and then
Right.
/launch.
Okay. And then the spreadsheets that you upload, they have to be in CSV format.
Thank
Do they
you.
have to have a certain labeling for each column? Certain
No.
way? Just
They
as
don't.
okay.
yeah, the gentleman who was on before, Coach Aki, he was the
Right,
developer, and it understands that
right, okay,
profit. I mean, because one of the things that one of the ladies who was on said, what if you aren't even in that place to have your numbers and all that detail, whatever? We're actually looking at being able to upload bank statements, and where we can say deposits is your income and all the deductions are your expenses. And you would, the business owner would just have to know, we're taking it that this is your business bank account, and all the income in are your deposits, all the deposits are your income, all the money out are your expenses. So
okay,
you're also looking at using bank statements as well for
right.
small businesses.
Okay, does all the sales need to be unlocked or unprotected for the data to be read by the app?
That
How's
is a good
protection?
question. I
Yeah,
will ask that question. I don't know. That is a good question. So,
because a lot of times we work with spreadsheets that certain areas are protected, and because we don't want other people messing with them,
yeah,
right? And so if we upload a spreadsheet that has protected and unprotected cells, so how does the software handle that, I wonder? Yeah.
thank you. I will find that out.
Okay.
Thank you for those questions. Great
Yeah.
questions. And Teresa, questions that you might have?
Right now, I don't have any questions. I feel like I came in at the tail end. Not that your presentation wasn't good, but I think I need another opportunity. I don't know if you can do a relaunch or this is going to be the only one you're going to do. I really wanted to hear it.
Okay, well, I did go through, I think I went through it, but I may have gone through it quickly. What I will do is, if you would like, I have recorded this. So I
Okay.
will be, I can share the recording as
All
well.
right. That sounds good.
Okay, I may do another launch, but this was really to get feedback and information and to see what people think about it. And so that is my question to you all. Do you think this is something that your businesses or businesses that you work with would use?
I don't know, because for me, right now I'm using QuickBooks, and that's a fee per month as well, like $300 a month at most.
Right,
So I
right.
don't know if I want to add another fee onto it. And then I know that we can also upload the bank statements to QuickBooks as well.
Mhm.
Because when you're talking about it, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I could do that with QuickBooks too.
Yeah.
And I haven't done it, so.
Right, yeah. And what
So,
Well,
we're finding, go ahead.
yeah. I can definitely use it in my advisory business, because I would use it, actually, how I want to phrase this. As part of what I provide to my clients, I would add this in as part of a suite of services that I will provide to clients that I do advisory services for, because they would need dashboards and different things that you've shown that I don't necessarily provide, or I may provide them, but they may not be this clear and laid out like in a really understandable fashion. So I can see how that can be sort of merged into what I currently do for clients, and provide this dashboard to all my clients. And obviously I would underwrite the cost or somehow, or pass it on to the client some way. I don't know how that'll work, but I can see value, extreme value, you know?
That is actually a great idea because I'm going to be looking at offering it to my clients to say, hey, and so it's part of what I'm calling the tech stack. Like, I have
Yes.
a portal
Right.
that they can upload their information in. I have a portal where they save their information that's secure, especially my tax clients. And then I also have QuickBooks that some of them pay for it themselves, some pay through me. And then I also have a platform that I use for contracts, and a platform that I have for a month-end closes. And so all of those are included. When I do a monthly price for my clients, I include all of that because I use all of that technology for the work that we do for them. And I was also paying for a dashboard system. And I'm like, why am I paying for these dashboards? The clients don't want this information. And then because I gave them these great graphs and charts and all this stuff, and it helps me to help them, but they don't use
Yes.
it. And then I
No.
realized, you know what? They don't need all of that. Let's get something simple for them. So thank you for that, because $50 a month or $40 a month adds to, what you would include in their fee,
Right.
Yeah. And then you could
Also, I have
earn
a
some off.
question here.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry.
does the so using it that way, what the software can handle, I guess it does whatever you're uploading, and so it doesn't require a fee from each client. I have 5 clients, I don't have to pay 5 times. I pay 1 time as the main user, and I can use it indiscriminately for as many clients. How does that
We
work?
haven't set that up yet. Right
Mm.
now it's like for the user itself, because I
Right.
don't know if you would want each client to have their own login. You provide it to them or through them. So
Right.
we could look at a discounted rate for a certain number of clients,
Right.
but you actually would get
Right.
an affiliate. You know,
Right.
for this,
Okay.
you would actually earn back from it. So each
Right.
one would have their own login. But we could look at a bundle as well. That's something that we can look at offering for accountants and so thank you for
Right.
that. But
And
we're thinking that, you know, but yeah, I see what you said. Like you could put multiple clients in and have
right.
their
Yes.
information. So we can take a look at that.
But I'm wondering if the software, like if you do it for client A and you get the dashboard and then you clear it and then do it for client, like is it going to interfere with the first client's data? It's not the
Well, we
data
would
is
have to
just
partition it where you would
partition.
have
Right.
several not several
Okay.
logins, but it would be partitioned. So when you log in, you would have client A partition, client B partition, client. So that would be an upgrade to what we've offered, but
Right.
something I think
Right.
we can do.
So is a repository then for client A's information stays there like all the time. It doesn't just sort of wipe. It doesn't just give you the result and then wipe clean. It's
Right.
a repository, so you need another partition to do another
Yes.
client.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Because right now it does save.
Mm.
Just the one I had been using over and over. I was using the back key, I think, instead of using the save key. So I need to look at that with the developer. But we would have it such that it would be a
Right.
multi-client platform.
Right. And then obviously this is sort of like version 1, if you will, and as with all apps, it goes through iterations and improvements. So all those would be at no cost, the updates to the app, or how does that work?
So
Like
right now, like for tonight, if you
Mm.
decided, 47, it
Right.
would all the upgrades and changes, you wouldn't have to pay anything else for. For persons
Right. Okay.
that are locking in at $59 a month, after 6 months, it may increase because I
Okay.
could be constantly paying developers and paying
Right.
for the hosting. And the more people that use it, the more, of course, we pay for hosting, but that's included within the price. But the
Mhm.
price will probably be going up year on year for sure. But
Okay.
it would not, if you lock in, you would lock in,
Right.
you'd lock in. Does that make sense?
That's very impressive. I didn't know you were doing this. It's very impressive. This app I think it's a game changer. I think if people sort of gravitate, sort of really look into it and see how it's very powerful. It does a lot of heavy lifting. That's the word I'm looking for. It does all the heavy lifting and makes it sort of simple, not simplistic, but simple for and understandable for the average business owner. Like you said, who has no accounting background and all that, to really get a snapshot. That's the word as well. A snapshot of the health of the business on a flip of a dime, if you will. And I think that's sort of invaluable information.
Yeah. And that's what I found is that I am helping people with the same information over and over.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, how can I help them to help themselves? You know, and like the lady who was on earlier, Kelly, she's a really small business here in Bermuda, but she had a lot, like I did a special project with her through the BDC, and she was
Right.
like, how can I continue to have you help me? I can't afford you though. And I get that quite often. And even if I gave her the lowest rate, like a nonprofit rate, even the churches or schools that I work with, I'm like, I gotta pay. Like Sade is on here who does our accounts as well. I gotta pay my people. I have to pay my rent and my licensing fees, and you know all the stuff we gotta pay as a CPA.
Right.
So I'm like, there's certain amounts I can't go below. But if clients can't even afford that, how can they still be helped? I still want to help people. So this is why I said, you know what, let me come up with something that can help people. Because some of the questions are the same. it's how can I do this? How can I do that? What does this mean? If I make this and I spend this, what does that mean? How much cash do I have left? So yeah. So thank you for that. I appreciate that feedback. And Teresa, I definitely understand what you're saying as well, that you're already paying for QuickBooks, and QuickBooks does have dashboards. I look at those dashboards and go, what?
That they do.
What is it? What? It's like, ugh. And so I realize it's not helpful for me. And so even, I'm a CPA with clients, but I look at them for my clients. I'm like, this isn't helpful for my client. My client needs this. And I've been doing separate PowerPoint presentations. And like I said, I've spent so much money in stuff to help my clients, for me to help my clients. And I'm like, I need to just develop something.
Proud of you. I just wanted to have the opportunity to at least listen to what you had to offer, and support you in that way,
Thank you. I appreciate it, because and feedback is definitely helpful. I mean, it may be Kent, Sade, Teresa, there may be things you think of later, like, well, how come you don't do this? Or could it do this? Or what about that? Or did I see this? And I'll give you guys all the recording, so you can see the full, I mean, I did, the presentation just did it faster. But yeah, if there's other things, I mean, that's what tonight was about. Like I said, I may do another launch once we do some things. There were a couple little glitches that happened that I was like, that didn't work like I thought it was going to. And it's funny because, it's the beta testing of it, as you said, Kent. When I did something like last week, and then I did something today after he made some changes, and then when I did it tonight after doing it today, I think I was doing it over and over and over again, like you said, with different information in the same client, me. It came up not saving, by like it just, as you saw, it was like not saving the information. Like, what happened? So it's that's what happens. That's why we
gotta
keep
work out the kinks.
Say again.
You have to work out the kinks.
Exactly. And using it over and over helps to see what the kinks are, because when you put it in once, it may work fine. But when you then say, oh, you know what, I need to change information, or some people might want to use it every single day. And that's when it might not act the same way. So thank you, Sade, that you'll definitely give feedback and your thoughts. I appreciate that. I know it's late there, Kent, and I know you're hopefully you ate a little something, Teresa. I thought I heard you eat.
Just did.
Good. So any other questions, any other thoughts or feedback?
For me, not at this point.
Okay.
I think Ken covered everything.
Good questions, great questions.
You had some great questions, and good feedback.
Yeah. Anything else, Kent?
No, that's it for now. Yeah.
Well, if you think of anything else, let me know. And I know it's late. Yes. I so appreciate that you came on. But thank you again. I really appreciate this and your support. And again, let me know how it works out. And I'll let the coach know as well, my developer, that you were having some problems. But we'll leave it open, of course. Well, that link will be there until I take it down. So I'll let him know that you're working on it.
Okay.
We'll work on phase 2 with multiple clients.
Yes. Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Thank
you. Safe travel. Enjoy. Have a good night. 8, 9, 10, 11, so it's like 12 midnight.
It's 4 hours ahead. So what is it? 1 o'clock?
Yeah, 10 of 1. Yes. Okay. Well, thank you. I so appreciate that you were able to come on. Thank you. All right. Take care. God bless. Bye. So that's the launch of Profit Pulse, My Profit Pulse. God is good. Lord God, I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. It's only you. You've done it, and you do it in Jesus' name. Amen. And give it to God.